Yo, what up everyone? I'm Rahim, your owner, rapping and snacking, getting into another hot takes video. These are hot takes by y'all. Y'all dropped on my Instagram, so hit me up on there and on TikTok at rapping and snacking. Get some from the site in the description below. Appreciate y'all. So let's go ahead and get into one of these hot takes. I'm going to go ahead and do this one first. Fira Susi. This person is saying Mobb Deep can wash anyone or group in a versus. So I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. That is a hot take, and I'm going to say no. Reason being because Mobb Deep, awesome group. Rest in peace, Prodigy. But just one group that will beat probably anyone in a versus is Outkast. And if not Outkast, then 3 6 Mafia. Those two groups can beat anyone, really any group. I don't even think it's really debatable. The stuff that they've put out that not only has just sold so much, 3 6 Mafia is not sold as much as Outkast. There's people who sold more than 3 6, but the stuff that 3 6 has done and been able to stay relevant, and the fact that if you notice throughout these trends for like not only on TikTok but on Instagram and just people remixing and stuff like that. Like people have remixed Slob on My Knob a lot. Like ASAP Ferg did that. Who Run It challenge was really big. That's 3 6 Mafia. Then you have that recently. We have like the Half on a Sack remakes, and everyone's like doing that on TikTok. So those are 3 6 Mafia songs, and trust me, there's gonna be a lot more that are gonna be coming. Then you get Outkast, who are just so huge. Mobb Deep, they're awesome, but I think they'd fare a little better against someone like A Tribe Called Quest. I think that would be like a better versus, although their styles are quite different. I think just in terms of what they can provide, would fare well a little bit more in terms of like popularity and things like that, but I still think Tribe might edge out there. And it's also like, are you including solo stuff or not, right? If you're just doing Mobb Deep stuff, or are you going to throw in like Keep It Thorough by Prodigy? It's kind of like, it's a little tricky, right? Or Wu-Tang. I think Wu-Tang would also be good against Mobb Deep. Also stylistically, they're a little more similar. But really, like, Wu-Tang can also win it. And it's like, are you doing, like, the Raekwon solos, the Ghostface solos, stuff like that? Then it would be Wu-Tang all day. But I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that for show. So appreciate you anyways. Next up, we got this person is saying Josh Campos 98. This person is saying no skippable tracks on MMLP2. Other than the skit. What do y'all think? So for those who don't know what he's referencing Marshall Mathers LP2, which is the follow-up to Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem, his best album in my opinion. I have the CD right here, and I'm going to go ahead and disagree just off top that I think the skit, if he's talking about the parking lot skit, I think that's a great skit because it's going directly from the album Marshall Mathers LP. That's a direct correlation from the Marshall Mathers LP, the parking lot skit. And then I thought that was dope. So that was cool. I think the worst song on this is probably The Monster with Rihanna. Just he wanted to have another single with Rihanna. Loved The Way You Lie, did really good. They went on tour, all that stuff. So he wanted to do something with her again. The Monster is the worst song on the track, doesn't really fit in. Then there's some songs in here that just don't really have, like the chorus is Eminem. That's one of the weak parts of his discography, or his chorus is like Asshole has a pretty bad chorus. So Much Better has a pretty bad chorus. Brainless, the chorus is whatever, you know what I mean? So Stronger Than I Was, that song's like whatever. So Survival, that should have just stayed like as a bonus track like they did for like Call of Duty or whatever. They should have just like kept it, because I remember it was in the Call of Duty commercials. I wish this was just a bonus track and not on the official album. So, but Eminem does well on it, but also it's kind of like the chorus just does not fit in with the album at all. It's a very like Call of Duty kind of chorus, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with that. Actually, though, I do really like this album. There's some great songs on here. Don't sleep on it. Also, there's some not so great songs on here, but there's some really good ones. Next up, we got someone named John Dichter. This person is saying Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back is better than The Chronic and Illmatic. So, what's funny is I'm scared of It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. And what I mean by that is I'm scared to debate it because I think that album is so good that I don't really want to put it up with really any other album. It's that good. Like, for an album that came out in 88 to sound that good on the production and still to this day, and there's a lot of albums that came out in 88 that sound great production-wise in my opinion, but that one is just something special. I mean, the sampling era was so different back then. Public Enemy, the Bomb Squad are just so incredible. And why do you think Ice Cube also worked with them on America's Most Wanted? Because they were so good. And he wanted to work with a couple other producers too, but the Bomb Squad was one of the main ones he wanted to work with. It Takes Nation Millions to hold us back also has just incredible skits. It's Chuck D's rhyming, some of the concept tracks on there, just really everything. That's a perfect group album. You got the DJ aspect, the production aspect, the rhyming aspect, the hype man aspect. You have so much in there that's so great that I don't want to say it's worse than any album. And I'm a crazy Death Certificate fan, but I'm not going to fight someone who's saying this album is better than Death Certificate. I'm still going to say Death Certificate's, like a hair better, but I'm not going to go crazy and say it's so much better. With that being said, The Chronic is phenomenal, obviously. I'd take off the Doctor's Office skit, and I'm not crazy about the Roach, but the Doctor's Office skit can go. Illmatic's amazing, but I think the biggest problem with Illmatic is the length. I think it's is it 40 minutes? Is it 35 minutes? It's in that range, and as great as it is, it doesn't really feel like it doesn't feel like an album as much as It Takes a Nation Millions holds back and The Chronic does. The way that it's sequenced, it doesn't really feel like an album like that. Plus, it has so many different producers that it just doesn't flow as well as something like the Public Enemy album or the Dre album, but it's still an incredible album, amazing, especially by such a young Nas. So that's a great take. And I'm not going to disagree with you there. It's definitely on par with those albums. It might be better than those albums. Like I said, phenomenal album. I want to know what y'all think below, because I know everyone loves all three of those albums, so that would be cool to see. Next up, we got someone named Jay Simi saying the best late rapper is Big Pun, rest in peace. So I don't want this to come off in a way where I'm disrespecting Big Pun, obviously, but there's no way he's the best dead rapper. I don't even think it's close. I think he was awesome. Rest in peace. I thought he gave us some great material, but in no way, shape, or form is he the best or even near the best. I think better than him, we can just go like Tupac, number one, just one of the people better. Big L, I think, would have ended up being better. I think MF Doom was better. I think Sean Price was better. I think the Notorious B.I.G. was better. So those are just some people that I just named off top that I think are better than Big Pun. Does that mean Big Pun is not great? No, of course not. He's awesome. But I think that we were gonna start to see his decline, especially with the Yeah Baby. I think that he was going in a direction that would not have been as beneficial to the future of his career. Who else? There's other people that passed that I'm just not thinking of. I'm trying to look at my wall to see who's passed here. Who else? As you can see, I'm having a little trouble here. Like Fife, I mean, I like Fife a lot. I'd take Big Pun over Fife, right? But that's a close one. And there's just other people that I'm not thinking of right now. I'm trying to just look, and I know people are probably going to sound off in the comments about some people that I'm clearly forgetting. But that's what I think about that. Big Pun, R.I.P., but no, he would not be the best. He's not the best late rapper, in my opinion. Next up, we have someone here saying, this person's name is Vibe God. He is saying, I'll end the beef. West Coast has the best beats. East Coast has the best raps and lyricism. Man, I really dislike this take so much. I really don't like when people put people up against each other, coasts up against each other. I really don't like that. I think it's kind of played out. Like, why is it in every conversation I hear about Tupac, I have to hear if someone gives Tupac a compliment, they have to give Biggie a compliment. It's like, dude, that's so corny. They're so different. The only reason why people bring them up is because of their beef. But just as rappers, they are so different. And this also, I mean, the thing, too, that I don't like about this take where it says, like, West Coast has the best beats and East Coast has the best raps, lyricism, is that it's also taking away, like, artists from the Midwest. It's taking away artists from the South as if they don't have the best beats, they don't have the best raps, they don't have the best lyricism, whatever. That's why I just don't like things like this. And I also, there's so much music from the West Coast and there's so much music from the East Coast that how can you even like answer that kind of question? I mean, I'd have to be going through not only from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, but I'd also have to be going, like Oakland, I'd have to go to San Diego, I'd have to go to Los Angeles, and I'd have to go to like Brooklyn, I'd have to go to like even New Jersey, New York, everything in New York, it's crazy. Are we counting Pennsylvania? It's way too hard. Pause, big pause. I don't know how to answer this. I don't like when people, and no disrespect, but I just don't like when people put like the two coasts up against each other. I just don't like that because that whole thing was fabricated anyways, the whole beef. But I'm just not a fan of that. Also, one person that just came to my mind when I was talking about like late great rappers better than Big Pun, Prodigy. How did I forget about Prodigy? I was just talking about him in the beginning of this video, and there's more too. I was just like they'd come and go, but that's what I think about this East Coast West Coast take. I'd also be interested in what y'all think about that one. Now let's see what the next take is. This one is by someone named Questions by MF Doom. This person is saying Deck would have been, well, he said would have seen, would, okay, there's a lot of typos here. I'm just going to say it anyways. Deck would have been the best clan member had he not given up after RZA's flood. So, I kind of agree and I kind of disagree. So I don't think Inspectah Deck gave up per se, because he's still rapping to this day and he's trying, you know what I mean? Like he didn't give up, but what I will say is RZA's flood really impacted a lot of stuff, man. He lost hundreds of beats in that flood and it's crazy. Like he lost stuff from all the members. So it's really sad. Most popularly like Method Man and Inspectah Deck, and it's such a shame because I personally think Inspectah Deck's his performance on a lot of those Wu-Tang songs are the best performances on those Wu-Tang songs, and it's crazy because he didn't have the best solo career out of those people, and you really wonder, would his album in the mid-90s, would it have been as good as Iron Man, as good as Only Built for Cuban Links, as good as Return to the 36 Chambers, as good as all those albums, Liquid Swords, blah, blah, blah. So that's a great question. And it is a hot take. And honestly, like, I don't really disagree with it. I think Inspectah Deck I think the way he flows is really impressive. I think the way his voice just sounds with his punchlines and his flows and all that, it's just really great. I think he's a catchy rapper, a catchy rhymer. He's not too flashy where he's trying to impress you. He's just doing what he loves to do for the art of it and just because he thinks he can rip you up on the mic. And Inspectah Deck is definitely one of the more underrated hip-hop artists. He's so great on the mic, and I'm happy he's shining with Czarface. So shout out to him. Would he been the best clan member? That I don't think so. I think still Ghostface probably would have been, just because I think the work ethic is slightly different. But you never know, man. You never know. If his first album didn't get destroyed by the flood and he released it, and let's just say it went platinum, maybe he released an album 2 years later and a year later. And then, I can't dictate that. That's hard to tell. But he's a freaking amazing. Inspectah Deck's awesome. Next up, we're going to go to this person named Darth Erickson. He is saying, people who say rap is dead live off radio hits from the 90s. Rap is better than ever, in my opinion. So, this is kind of a hot take. I like part of this take, Darth, and I actually really appreciate this take, shout out, because I really agree with a lot of what he's saying here, where he's saying people who say rap is dead live off radio hits from the 90s. And the reason why, and I'm kind of going to spin this a little different, I think a lot of people, I fucking hate the term like when people say 90s is the golden era, 90s is the best, because they think like 90s is the only thing that mattered, and I just hate it so much because then what happened to the 80s? Like, what happened to the stuff before the 90s that was also incredible? Like, I just talked about It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. The 80s was phenomenal, and you make a case that the late 80s was better than the early 90s or mid-90s. You know what I mean? So I just really dislike that, because then when you do stuff like that, you automatically assume, or you automatically say that, like, the 90s is the only hip-hop you should listen to. You know what I mean? That's just so stupid. And yeah, a lot of people, like, for example, I'm making my playlist, right? Or I'm listening, I've listened to, like, other people's playlists, and that's why I don't care about what anyone else talks about rap or whatever, because they all have the same shit on all their playlists. It's all the same singles from everything, and they don't have, like, album cuts, or they don't have cuts from, like, artists that never sold gold, never went gold. So it's kind of just like, come on, man. And it's just like, a lot of those people are the same people that say, oh, I only listen to 90s rap, or rap's just been dead for so long, man. Or they'll say, like, even like with Griselda, for example, they'll say, like, oh, Griselda saved rap music. It's like, dude, no. Like, there's been so much good rap music. Yes, Griselda's awesome. Yes, these people are awesome. But they weren't, like, rap wasn't dormant for 10 years and was dead. Like, there's been so much great rap every year. Every year. You just have to do the knowledge, or maybe you don't like all of it. I don't know. Maybe you're just way too picky. But trust me, if you like some of that music that's out now, there's someone who fathered that. There's someone who they're influenced by that you just didn't hear. And the thing that this guy's saying that I disagree with, he's saying rap is better than ever, in my opinion. That I'll disagree with. I think rap is great right now. I think it is. But I think it was better in other years. I do think it was better in the 80s. I do think it was better than 90s. But with that being said, it doesn't mean that it died or it totally fell off or anything like that. Like, it just has changed. And there's a lot of things that have changed, not only from, like, the sonics and how it's how the music sounds, but also just the way it's being recorded. And one thing that I think is kind of a lost art is, you know, you get a lot of people who email verses, and they do features just, like, through DMs and, you know, like I said, through email. And you have a little less organic collaboration in the studio, flying out to see each other, bouncing ideas off each other. That's a little lost. And I think because of that, you get not only less quality in hip-hop, but you get, like, less quality just in other genres too. I can't speak as much on that, but I can speak on hip-hop. And, you know, like I said, I do see, like, a slight decline in some people, but then it's on some of those artists to make their album sound the best, and some of them go that extra mile to make their album sound the best. So I really like this take by Darth Erickson. I think it is kind of a controversial take, because a lot of people love to say, oh, 90s the golden era, oh, this, oh, that. It's like, bro, like, just shut up, man. Like, just you're basically calling yourself ignorant if you say that, because you're not acknowledging every year all these other artists that have just done a great job, or you're just not doing a good enough job. Hit me up. I will help you. I reply to everybody. I'll let you know what I like, and if you think it's whack after I tell you, then I guess I'm whack or whatever. But anyways, these were some good hot takes. I appreciate y'all as always. Hit me up on Instagram and TikTok at Rappin' and Snackin'. Buy a shirt, support, or some stickers, whatever it is. Playlists are down there. I'm still working on quite a few, so I appreciate y'all, and I'm out of here. Bless.